If you love the idea of Autobomber build, which bases on Temporalis and Blink spamming damage with the Jade Amulet from Zesht, well, I have an alternative for those who don't really want the part of FPS drop. And also for those who play Archmage, and specifically my Critweaver build. Best thing about using my Critweaver build for this is cause we didn't need any cast speed and we for sure don't need any cast speed for this version. The only caveat is the mana regen would be beautiful, but I have a quick fix for it. And the only two things you will need for this build is Temporalis and a Sceptre, but you 100% can afford a Sceptre for like 2 divines if you can afford Temporalis. But for those who don't get convinced by sped up footage, let's take a look on normal map run with Temporalis. You just need to believe in your build, and your build needs to be pretty solid because we're passing on an focus which gives us a lot of damage. But usually if you're able to just blink through and be 100% confident that you kill all of the mobs behind you with the spark, that's when you should try this build. Unless you're not confident, there is a way around it. We just use the original amulet that the Autobomber uses, and we also got anointed with the 100% more critical strike chance against enemies on full life, plus use ambush support gem. But I will show you everything after we take a look at how beautiful Temporalis is when it comes to bad maps for Breach. We can juice it out all we can out of the Breach on a map like Abyss, which usually isn't the best, but we can just go back and forth and back to just kill all of the mobs that spawn constantly. There is no other way without spamming Blink that we can kill as many here. It's just a bad map for a solo player especially. We will still have to do a couple of swaps other than the usual build, but I will just provide you with best mobalytics if you only wanna play this, so you will have like get-go and you will not have to change. If you really like this version, you will be able to socket in and have like way better results than I have here. Let's not make it longer than it needs to be. Let's skip to the boss and take a look how we deal with the boss. And how we deal? Well, if you still have weapon set 2, it's an easy job. We just set up every damage we used to from before, sigil, conductivity, orb of storm, blink couple times around them, or once, depends, and that's all. But it wouldn't be me if I didn't tell you the main reason why I love Temporalis, which is obviously any tower. While I can just do this, it's just insane. Compare like how long it takes normally by just walking, it's insane. Like even if you have blink but with cooldown, it just takes ages, just look the difference. And by the most funny part of it, just look how long it will still take me. Just look how insanely long this is for completely no reason. Just imagine you have to normally go here. This is just insane, and they wanna like make us do the towers. Like not everyone gonna do what I do now. Tier 1 waystone and just go ASAP to the precursor, so we can actually juice up everything around, because doing maps without tower is pointless. And just look at the way. Like man, every fucking tower walking so much without Temporalis is so awful. I'm so sad that I have to shout out my not logged in friend, Emo, for borrowing me this, for me to be able to make the video and have fun with it whenever he's offline. So big thanks to you, and well, let's go about the main things we need here. So if you're using my Critweaver setup, well, the first thing I wanna say is this. You need 2 of these, 3 of these even, preferably, 6% mana on kill, beautiful. Then if you have 3 of these, you will not have to swap anything. But since I have 1, I swapped those points here, points with the control metamorphosis. I try to swap as little as I have to, because all I need is dexterity for cast on dodge requirements, my strength is provided by my amulet, and preferably you also want scepter like this with strength. I paid I think 1 divine for this one. And then what you need is to drop down here to get conservative casting and mana cost reduction on skills, and you need to anoint mental toughness. So what I do to get spirit is simply just use the sceptre, 160 spirit, just as much as I need. It doesn't matter which sceptre, what matters is to have strength and intelligence, because then it's easier to provide your attributes for equipment. Maximum mana just to get some mana if like we're losing the focus, so getting some mana is fine. I don't really care about anything else, I don't care which skill or anything. I'd probably like the Malice the most, but it really doesn't matter. And the only thing that matters is to put quality on our custom dodge, cause then 160 provides us perfect spirit. We get 100 for custom dodge, but minus 10% if we quality it. So that's perfect slot for clarity, because mana regen is just beautiful in this particular loadout, and I just can't stress it enough. Unless you have the flask and you keep an eye on your mana, which is very important, but it can be volatile with the mana, especially with the Jade Amulet. So just careful if you don't want mana regen. And well, I was having issues mostly because of FPS whenever I died with this setup, but well, all I will say is just to be careful, like you want mana regen and the flask preferably. Staying alive is just the best, no XP losses, what can I say? And what's even more important and the most important above all else is custom dodge, spark in first and last slot, and we need inspiration, ambush, especially when you play the Jade Amulet, and pierce, so we hit as many times as possible. Although if your mana regen is high enough or you think you can sustain without it, you can remove this and get projectile speed, which will be amazing for it. And why it's important to have spark first and last slot? Well, that's because we're gonna send spark from the starting and ending position of our blink like this. There's also an alternative to use wild shards if your crit is high enough, but sadly for me I have 100% crit on focus, so removing it is kinda big hit into my crit. That's why I have ambush, and that's the main reason. But well, stormweaver doesn't have easy time to get the crit, so you better get around 45 to 50% crit with ambush. And as I said before, when I use this Jade Amulet, I have Leaping Ambush on it, and support gems are pretty simple: the Concentrated Effect, Considered Casting, Spell Echo, and Spell Cascade. Why Spell Cascade? Just because I like it, but you can put +1 to lightning spell skills on it. I just personally like this one. And now let's take a look how it looks like with our Jade Amulet alternative. No FPS drops. For me they gonna be here even if I don't know, lower everything to the bottom low, if I have the instilled emotion on it, but outside of it, it's fine. Remember, like doing just blink, blink, blink all the time is not the best idea, because of it I kept dying all the time. Remember, if you like blink into the wall, it will not give you the energy required to proc your ability, because you need to cover the distance with it. It's like giving you energy per like the distance you cover, not like for blinking. So remember that. And well, you can just port and cast normally as well. It's gonna be beautiful as well. Like, you can just zoom through them, of course. It doesn't like matter that much. But just to be careful, if you don't wanna lose a waystone, if you're doing citadel with like crazy debuffed waystone for the big waystone percentage, yeah, you better be careful with this blinking, because from what I noticed, whoever uses this most of the time is just straight up death, only based on the fact that someone blinked into something. Like, Stone Charm is highly advised. Like, having Dream Frag actually wouldn't be that bad, just for the freeze immune on top, because you will blink into a pack of mobs sooner or later, and you will be in trouble. If you get stunned, you get freezed, you're in trouble. So yeah, look how beautiful it is with Spell Cascade. And we don't have Ice Wall, which is the main culprit for the FPS drops. But normally you don't really need the amulet. It's way harder with the mana with it. Unless you have the jewels. Mana on kill jewels are powerful. And well, that would be all. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, see ya in the next one.